working with the neck. So I'm going to show you guys a few of the key points that you want to release before stretching and doing any more deeper stretching on the neck. So usually if they start face up, I'm always going to check under along the splenius cervicus and all the or splenius thoracis cervicus, and also rhomboids, and just kind of get an idea where's that lumpity lump, because all that feeds up into the neck. And the most surface is the trapezius, sort of middle and upper trapezius. So I'm just kind of giving a little pressure, scooping here under, right along the spine, the bladder meridian, and eventually we get even closer and start working on the Jaji meridian, and that's just that lamina groove.
So from going along that groove, you can feel which muscles are tight.
Yep, and that transverse processes. You can feel if something's locked. So I kind of just get an idea of what's going on there. See what kind of tension they have in the traps. So I'm going to do some grasping on the traps. So if we were to break it down Tuina wise, so we did some round rubbing with fingertips and like pressure points. So I'm just right up. And I typically will sweep up there a few times, 3, 4, depending on how tight they are. Kim is pretty tight here, so we're going to do it a few more times.
Don't mind the goosebumps. Feels good.
Okay. Let me know if the pressure is too much. So as you notice, I'm kind of starting to get a little bit of manipulation of the thoracic a little bit, and then cervical mostly, just to kind of see is there some restrictions, and then I work my way all the way on up the neck. And get up to that occiput, working on the bladder 10 and gallbladder 20, all along that ridge, which is a sub occiput, and also all the way to attachment of the trapezius. Okay, so that's one of the first sort of things out, working up.
God, already I feel like I've been doing everything so backwards. This is great.
And then up, and so working up here. As soon as I'm able to get to that place where I can manipulate, I give a little bit of that. And all I'm doing really is with fingertips, is pressing and round rubbing techniques. Okay, which is just how we work pressure points, right? You can round rub with your fingers, with your thumbs, and again working that occiput. And then I'll start going in after I've worked on straight up the back, on the trapezius line and all that, into this, close to the spine. Then I'll go in and I'll maybe work a little scalene. Okay. And this is all still really, I'm just palpating with, some of the round rubbing. So I'm not going really strong yet, but just enough to see if, if I go, a certain amount of pressure, you might notice that the person might cringe a little bit, which is okay. Then you just lighten up.
I like the pain.
Or if they have a really high tolerance. So I'm working in here, just kind of some round rubbing, getting those scalenes to just maybe say, talking to them, getting them to let go a little bit. Okay, so I know her scalenes are really tight, and they're a culprit of a good amount of stuff going on with her. So then I'm going to give her scalenes a little break. I'm going to come back and I'm going to work the traps now. Okay, so essentially posterior, lateral, anterior. Okay, you can do that in reverse as well. But in this case, we're just trying to get things loosened up there. Now I might start going to some kneading with my knuckles. And all the while, see how her head is moving?
Yeah.
We want to get that going. Don't worry about waking a person up or whatever, because they're gonna fall asleep when you release their neck anyway. Maybe.
Really? That'd be cool.
Yeah. So that's the intention. So if I move like this, see how much more it's a little more relaxing. And a person can breathe in between, you know, depending on how much time you have. And I might do some grasping again. Okay? You see how much stuff I'm doing? I haven't really stretched their neck yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't.
I would have stretched already. That's crazy.
Yep.
'Cause
Nope.
I don't feel ready.
Yep. I noticed that because every student did the exact same thing. They did a little dee and then they stretched the heck out of my neck, and I was like, okay, too soon.
I think like a lot of times I feel pressure to get to a lot of parts of the body, but I'm more of a detail person, so I like doing the detail, but I feel like they're going to be disappointed if I don't get to the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Are you
that's
asking
communication.
in the,
Yeah.
Because I asked
I
in the beginning,
should. Yeah.
do you want me to work on this areas of problems that are the areas you mentioned, and then just kind of touch on everything, or do you want full body and relaxation?
That's what I need to do.
Now, understanding that the position of the shoulders is also a huge part of what's going on in the neck as well, because if your shoulders are forward, it's going to pull on your trapezius. Your trapezius is going to be in a constant tensile stretch, so that you're going to always have that tension.
It's bothering my left shoulder just a little bit.
Is it? The pressure, even when I press here?
No,
Okay,
just when
just
you're
when I'm right
close
on
to
it?
the joint, yeah.
Okay, so he's got it a little bit stimulated after he was doing some of that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if like with Kim, she has the bicep, if she does have bicep tendonitis, you know, right where the bicep wraps over the groove, there's going to be tenderness in there. So I'm going to go into the pec right here. Now I'm just going to give you guys this because this is going to be good for you to utilize. So stabilize the shoulder here firm, and then have a person go ahead and turn your head to the right as far as you can. Okay, and come back. Inhale. Exhale, turn. Now we're just going to do a little fascial stretch. Good. Again,
That's
inhale.
pretty cool.
Exhale. Okay, so now we're stretching the scalenes a little bit and the SCM. Good. Repeat
And
that
what
a
is
few more
that
times.
lower hand doing?
Just
kind of
support.
cupping?
Yeah,
Okay.
just supporting. And then, you know, help pushing down. Is that okay on your shoulder? Good.
That's nice.
Work with the breath. Now, see, I'm going to hook into the clavicle where you were talking about there, Kim, where you want to start getting in there. Okay. So I'm starting to stretch that trapezius where it wraps over in the shoulder and kind of does that. Let's go there one more time. Okay. And now, Tuina, we're just pressing technique, right? Just pressing. And actually, this if we add that stretch to it and come on back. Good. We add the stretch to it. That's actually suppressing technique, right? So go ahead, deep breath. And exhale, turn.
So that's the difference between pressing and suppressing.
Suppressing. See, I'm here. I'm not moving.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Look how long I'm there. Pressing, you can press for, you know, it can be 2 seconds.
Okay.
You know, usually it's just a tempo thing, and suppressing is usually meant to, you know, slowly work very, very deep with broader pressure. Okay, so the position of the shoulders is huge. You know, I mean, if you don't release the neck and the pecs before you stretch it, you're only going to get so much. Or get them to release and relax.
Oh, this side seems more tender.
Yep, you can let that arm go ahead. Is that okay in your elbow? Good. And if it did bother their elbow, you just have them move over on the table so their arm is fully supported.
Oh, can you feel the pecs releasing a little bit as you're working?
Yep. And really, a lot of times it's a holding pattern. Okay. You can also, I'll get into sports massage with that a little bit more with the myofascial work and how we relate it to sports and that sort of thing. So good. Now her traps even feel a little bit less because if you think about it, they're rolled forward, and so we're putting this stretch on them like they're constantly stretched. So it's the position of her shoulders. So then we come and check in here, and she feels a little bit. The tissue is released a little bit. So now I'm getting closer to being able to stretch. Okay. So with this, we got kind of both. We got the SCM a bit. If I was to go in more, you know, and work with the SCM specifically with myofascial work, more detailed, you know, then I would just, you know, do a little bit of a drag through here and work it like so. Okay. Once you start really getting in, you just. So yeah, you need SCM work, girl. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
So for Kim, if I, you know what I mean, so because she has really tight SCM, I would go into all of her SCM and everything before I did really deep stretching stuff, because these guys have to get released before she's gonna get much more. Yeah, you're really tight.
So do you just kind of go along the length of the whole
I
muscle?
should be working my own SCMs.
Yep, definitely do that. So I'll just show you real quick here. I know we don't learn this. This is more about fascial SCM release. So you get the at the attachment down here, and then I'm kind of grabbing broad, like so. Okay, now here's where it gets awkward. I'm actually going to have her turn into it. Okay, because this is stretching the SCM.
I've had someone do that before. That's crazy.
It feels weird, right? And just my thumb is pressing and really gripping and just stretching that fascia.
Oh, that's so great, though.
Good, again. Gripping that fascia if you can see it. Looking in. It's hard for the fascia in her SCM is super tight, even just that. So, and I'm not using a lot of pressure, right, Kim? It's just it's the fascia that's really tight.
I'm still using this technique. It's great.
So
So
then
good.
I might go back in, and now I'm gonna see with just, you know, a little bit of just grasping, finger grasping there, and I'm just grasping and doing a little bit of a little roll. That whole SCM muscle. This is where we should not be afraid. You know, most clients are going to get a little panicky, but you know, you talk them through it. I'm gonna work this muscle. It's going to feel like it's not the right place I should be, but
Don't kill
Sometimes
me.
it's hard to keep a hold of it. I feel like it'll keep slipping out of my
yeah, that's why, especially some people have different, you know, if their neck is really tight, it's hard to get that. But that's why you can't use any oil. You really have to do all this before the oil, because it's so hard to get it. Yeah, no, it's intense. So, you know, and gently get in there, you know, and just also just kind of mobilizing that SCM a little bit. It helps. So that's a little bit softer.
Yeah, it's better.
It feels better.
She's still got some trigger points, but then you can go up and work it, you know, at the mastoid process, the attachment of the SCM, and do a little round rubbing there to get things looser.
When's your next opening, liqueur?
Nah.
Seriously.
let's
Can you
see.
do an hour on someone's neck?
Oh my gosh, I can do 90 minutes on the neck.
Awesome.
I can certainly do a lot of time on the neck. So right here, we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Now this is from the orthopedic work. But the funny thing is, I've had Tuina doctors do the same technique on me without the active, you know, the active stretch, active myofascial release. So, Dr. Joe, I think he's probably the first person that grabbed my neck like this. And I was like, what is he doing? I know he's rushing, but he's... And then until I went to a orthopedic sermon, and I was like, hey, have you done Tuina? Where'd you get that technique? And he looked at me like, what? What are you talking about? So.
Fuck.
Yeah. One more time.